What is going on, guys? HappiDaze here. Thank you guys so much for waiting. Hopefully you guys are able to join and see the stream. Apologies that we're having some technical difficulties there with getting the stream going. We ended up creating it through OBS, but it was giving us some issues there. So we're going to go ahead and get into some runs today. We're going to be doing TM, see how that goes. Hopefully it goes pretty well. And yeah, we'll just get into your content. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, anything going on, definitely let me know in the chat window. Love to hear what you guys are up to. So let's just hop right into it. So the goal for this TM, at least for me, is I'm hoping to be able to get at least top 1,000. That's kind of the goal. So yeah, we'll see how we do, and we'll kind of go from there. So we're going to do some TM runs to start out, just see how we are. This has been a TM where I really haven't been going like too crazy. Some TMs I go, top 500, but this is just one where just due to time and everything else, I haven't had much time to really go and try to rank like super high in this. So we're gonna go ahead and go over some of the teams here. For those of you who keep up with the videos, I did end up doing a couple more pulls and pulling the Snake unit. So maybe we'll do some showcase a little bit later about her, see what she can do in PvP. I've been trying to play around with her a little bit, but I'm finding it really hard to when she goes against free spirits, that confusion is absolutely awesome. But the problem is getting to the point where you can actually use a special before you have teams like Slasher or things like that who just blow you out of the water. So that's kind of the pain points that I'm hitting there, trying to get that out of the way. If you guys could just let me know in the chat how audio sounds. Hopefully it sounds pretty good. It looks good on the OBS stream, but like I said, you never know between OBS and what's actually being displayed how the audio is. So if you guys could just let me know in the chat, I would appreciate that. Also, if you guys want to let me know how your TM runs are going, let me know how many you're going, how many nav levels you're up to. Would love to hear about that, see how you guys are doing. And yeah, if you just have any general questions about OPTC, let's just, hang out. Make these runs a little bit more exciting. If you've ever had any questions about OPTC or just any questions about the game in general, anything like that, feel free to ask. Think of this as a safe space. We don't care if you've been playing the game for 10 minutes or for 10 years. We're here to help everyone. So feel free to go ahead and ask any questions in chat. This is just an annoying stage because you have to be able to just do the 2 goods at the beginning. But you can get through the content pretty easily there without too much problems. Alright, time for the Dofi fight, so we'll go ahead and get right into that. This is the fight where that int G5 unit really shines in terms of what he can do. How you can do a really good heal on turn number 2. Then on turn number 3, you can just use him to basically take care of the ship bind. He takes care of the regular bind, and he just the attack up to 4 times for multiple turns is just awesome to use, and you love to see it. Of course, we're just going to go ahead and tap those first 2 stages. So what I like to do on this stage is use the 2 EXs of Luffy just to get the heals. Use the special of this guy down here. He gives you 85% damage reduction, which is awesome. And then you can just use the special of one of the Luffys to just go ahead and basically wave clear the rest of the units there. So we're going to try out in the boss match. As someone had mentioned, one of the things that was painful about the boss fight battle for this TM was having to stall 1 turn on that boss stage, on that stage 3, if you didn't have the Robin that is meant for this TM. Someone actually said, though, that if you use the EX of Ace on stage 2, then you don't have to stall. So we'll try that out, see what happens. Let's see if we can do some taps here just to kill Dofi. And yeah, we only need 2 taps to kill him. Plenty of damage. Nothing to really worry about there. All right, so we take on the boss stage. So we're on nav level 44, so we're pretty high up there. But yeah, you can see we're ranked 731. I think the goal will probably be for me to try to end somewhere in the range of like low 600. I think that'll be enough to at least guarantee I stay in the top 1K, which is kind of the goal for this treasure map here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and use the Jinbei special to remove the attack down there. And then let's see. Oh, yeah, boost the attack for 2 turns. Yeah, so that actually might work. All right, let's see. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it's a little bit better. And because the Ace special goes first there, the Luffy special doesn't proc. So yeah, I think that actually might... Yeah, it looks like that might work, and then we won't have to even stall at all on the stage 3, which would be awesome. So that was one of the commenters on one of the videos I put on that actually mentioned that, so it's actually a pretty good tip. Alright, we want to make sure we use Roger before anyone else, just so we can get that orb boost, and then if you use the Shanks and the Luffy after that, you'll just get a little additional boost to orbs there, which is always good. So let's go ahead and use Ace special, and then we'll wrap it up using Luffy special. I have the Momo support on Luffy, which is what triggers the end of turn damage, which is what you really need to go ahead and be able to get past the resilience on this stage. Do some taps with Ace over here. More than enough damage. I think it was only 1 or 2 taps, and that was more than enough to kill. So yeah, we get through that content pretty quick. Now we'll shoot up to nav level 45. I think we have three runs, I think, until we get to the next bonus map. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't had great luck in the bonus maps in terms of the tablets at the end, landing on the rainbow chest, getting the tablets there. I did see that Stump actually ended up pulling an alternate ink pen from one of those, which is pretty awesome. Oh, that actually was the bonus stage. So yeah, it looks like it'd be 4 turns until the next time we get one of those. So we went from, we gained about 20-ish ranks by just, clearing that. So hoping we get a 3 or a 5 here. Hey, Andre, welcome to the chat. I am aiming for top 1K is the goal. So I think what I'm going to try to do is try to get in, finish the night somewhere like in like the low 600s. And I think based on kind of the growth that I've been seeing over the last couple days, if I finish in the low 600s, then, when I wake up tomorrow around like 6 or 7 a.m., it'll probably be like 750 will be my rank. And then at that point, you're not going to have like 250 people going to try to just have a chance of getting top 1,000 there. So I'm hoping that with that, I'll be able to, like I said, stay in that 750 range by the time I wake up in the morning, and then it's just a couple more hours until TM ends. How about you? What rank are you going for? Did you pull any of the boosters? Any of the good Annie legends there? Oh, thanks, man. So this is the intrusion battle. As far as intrusion goes, it's actually pretty easy. Like I said, I think the hardest part of this whole TM, which is getting past some of these resiliences, is always a pain to do. So on this stage, because you get your special rebound by 2 turns, what we can go ahead and do is use the Super EX of Luffy. He'll give us 2 turns special down, and then we can use his special to go ahead and trigger that Momo support. Nice, top 500. That's awesome. What rank are you right now? Hopefully you're in like the 250 to 300 range. Yeah, top 500 is a slog. Yeah, especially on big anniversaries like this, right, where everyone is kind of ranking, grinding. Yeah, that's a pain, Tafalu, right? Are you a newer player who is on there because you're new to the game, or were you in one of the upper seas and got demoted, or just didn't play a lot, so got demoted down to East Blue? Hey, that's pretty respectable. 375 is not bad at all. That's not bad. Yeah, like I said, you just never know how crazy people are going to go in terms of the grinding, right? So you don't know if sometimes 100 ranks is more than enough to keep you in there. Sometimes it's less. It just depends how crazy people are going. But it definitely seems that people have. I think people are starting to realize that the rewards aren't really worth the effort, right? So top 500, yeah, you get a couple legend tickets, you get some potential ability tablets, things like that. But like when you look at the time that you invest to get to top 500 or even higher, like there's just not a lot of value there for the time that you have to invest to get up there. So it definitely seems like, I remember when I was first started playing, like people were absolutely nuts. You would literally have to be up like 8 hours a day to get high ranking, but now luckily I think people are starting to realize that the rewards aren't as good doing that, so you don't see that happening quite as much. Yeah, it's the luck of the draw. You don't know if you're going to get pushed out overnight. And you're rank 102 in East Blue. That's, well, at least the good news is you're guaranteed to get the promotion, right? I forget what the I know there's some kind of cap in East Blue. Can you go up to 20 million? Do they give the 20 million for East Blue, or is it capped at 7 or 10 for the max rewards there? I think they cap it, but I'm not quite sure. I thought that there was some kind of lower threshold where they capped the point rewards at lower for East Blue. But yeah, the only good news about being in East Blue is at least you can use one team for everything. But like you said, the bad news is if you just came back for anniversary, right, you want to kind of get into it. You probably pulled a bunch of the legends, hopefully, and it's like, sorry, you're kind of stuck in this. Oh yeah, Dre. Yeah, sorry. I was talking back and forth between you and the Tafalu there. So yeah. Yeah, Grand Line is the way to go. If you can like get into Grand Line, then that's definitely the preferred method there. Like I said, the rewards are just so much better. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're in Grand Line, like all you should really be shooting for is just the top 10%, right? Just so you can end up getting the promotion there, right? And that way you have the option when the next TM comes around if you want to stay on the Grand Line based on what units you pull or what the gimmicks are, or if you want to like go up to the new worlds. I don't think there's like that much of a difference, right? Like between Grand Line and New World, you still have to use different teams, so like they're not that different in terms of that. Like it's not like the East Blue, right, where you can use kind of one team for everything. Nice, all the point boosters minus Robin. That's fantastic, dude. Congrats. That's a good way to start the comeback. That just makes everything a lot easier. Oh, I just wasn't paying attention. I completely messed up there. Oh, this is going to be interesting because now I'm not going to have a Luffy for the last stage because I was just not paying attention. Completely my fault. I should have changed it from boosted captain over to same captain. So yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, that Nami and Karina is like ridiculous. Not only what they can do in PvP, because obviously with the special rewind, like that's nuts. But the fact that they're able to literally have, you know, either one, right? Either Nami or Karina, and Nami gets rid of the barriers and, you know, does a bunch of stuff, and then Karina does like a whole bunch of stuff as well. Like it's a fantastic unit. Yeah, I don't know if I'd still pull for them at this point. Like I said, with the TM ending tomorrow, like I don't think either of them are really like broken rare recruits per se. Like they're good because they're boosters, right? But if you're saving gems or don't have a lot of gems, it might just be better just to save a little bit there, Andre. Just see if you know if there's a next TM. I do, yes. Granted, these days I end up reading kind of the spoilers first, and then I end up kind of reading the actual chapters like a little bit later. So yeah, I'm all caught up on the manga, which is awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's I don't want to spoil anything for people who are anime only people, but yeah, I think there'll be like 20 new characters, right? That'll end up coming out probably within the next year, right? Just from the end of the Egghead arc. Yeah, I had that happen to me a lot when I first started, because like when I first started reading the manga itself, I didn't start reading when it first had came out. I want to say I had started reading the manga probably just after the Sky Island stuff. I think roughly is about when I started reading the manga. And like you said, there was like spoilers everywhere, right? Especially like around like Marineford and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a pain to get spoiled there. It's never good. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, yeah, that's a pretty awesome account. Like I said, that G5. I assume you're talking about the side G5, right? Because you said you got the Annie units, but I'm assuming that you also meant that you were able to get the side G5 there. If you did, that's just an amazing pull there. Yeah, Andre. I'm old. What can I say? I've been watching a lot of. I've been reading it for forever. Yeah, it's hard to believe when I started One Piece, I was in high school, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know if it's yeah. I think obviously it's been probably longer than Naruto, because that was the first one I started watching. Well, actually, Bleach was first, then Naruto, then One Piece. But yeah, it's hard to believe that it's been like 21 years, right? That's crazy. So welcome in, everyone. Just feel free to just pop any questions in the chat. We're just here to hang out, chill, play some TM. We'll probably switch over in a little bit to maybe we'll do some PvP if you guys want to do some PvP. I did pull the new S Snake unit, so we could kind of play around with her, see if we can figure out some teams to actually make her like viable, because she's just not great so far in the testing that I've done. Like I said, I think the biggest problem I have with a lot of these units is it's really hard to get like the special CT to be able to go ahead and take out the slashers right before they go. That's like the main team that you have to beat, right? That's kind of like the king team right now. So, but the problem is on decks, like with all the characters there, it's super hard to get like quick enough charge time to be able to go ahead and get your specials off before the slasher team gets theirs. Even with the Anniversary Ace and the Anniversary Roger, it's difficult. Yeah, time flies, right? Well, I think that's like that's the good thing about One Piece, right? Is that it brings together like so many generations. Like I have cousins who are in their late teens, right? Who read it, and you have older people like us, right? Who read it, and it spans a lot of generations, right? Especially with the live action that just came out too. It just kind of makes everyone excited. Like I can't tell you like how many people like I saw that were like freaking out when they saw the Luffy balloon in the Macy's Day Parade over here in the U.S. Right? Like it's awesome that it's kind of like a global phenomenon now, right? I mean, before like anime, I'm sure people who were in high school back in like the early 2000s, like, oh, it was like the geek thing, right? It was like, oh my god, you watch anime or you read manga, like that's so stupid. But now it's like much more acceptable, right? So it's kind of cool. Yeah, we can definitely do some videos there, Andre, on the new S-Snake unit there. Like I said, like if you're challenging a free spirit and she can get her special off, like that confusion is such like an awesome debuff. Like we say that, oh, if you have like Nami and Karina, right? That buff is insane because it can rewind specials by like 40%, right? But having the ability to completely make them rewind their special down to 0, and then they have to and it waits for them to actually do their attack. Like it's crazy. Like it's awesome. So like that's good. Like if you can get her special to go before you get hit by a bunch of death shots, like she can be really good. So I was looking on like the OPTC TV to try to see like what can we do to help speed up the CT, and the only thing I can think of, I think one of the problems that I have with my teams that I'm trying to build there is just that there's just so many like high legend costs on the Dex team, right? So you have like Big Mom, who's a key staple there. You have Luffy, who's a staple there. Used to have like Dofi, right, who is a staple there. Blackbeard, and they're all 55 cost units, right? So it makes it like kind of hard when you have so many high cost units to really replace them, right? So we'll see. We'll get into it. Maybe we'll just do we'll wait till this run's done, and then maybe we'll hop into some PvP for a little bit, just to break it up a little bit, so it's not just TM the whole time. Yeah, Andre, we were cool before anyone realized it, right? Does anyone in chat here play the card game? That's the one thing that I haven't got into yet, but you see it seems like it's pretty popular. But is anyone in chat any One Piece card game players? Yeah, I think if you're going to strike free spirits, like she's pretty broken. So yeah, we kind of messed up our team here. Yeah, because we used Luffy in that turn. Yeah, I think like the card game looks cool too. It's just unfortunately like I just don't have like a lot of people around here who I'd be able to play it with, right? So that's kind of the problem, is that like, yeah, even if I spent money getting like the cards and the booster units and things like that, I wouldn't really have anyone to use it with, right? So let's just see if I can go ahead and skip this map, because without that Luffy, yeah, let's just leave the C there. We'll see if we can get to the boss with the remaining stamina we have, and when we get close to the end, we'll just hop out and do some PvP stuff. Yeah, that S-Hawk unit is ridiculous. Like he just like redefined the meta for the slasher team. Like he just hits like a tank, right? You already had the Roger Whitebeard who hit through the defense, and then you have him who hits through defense to 3 enemies. Like he's ridiculously broken, which is awesome in some ways, right? Because like you can just like wipe out whole teams without too much difficulty there. But on the flip side, it's a pain if you're facing, you know, a slasher team that has him, right? But yeah, he's... when he came out, like, I saw, like, how broken he was, and I was like, I don't care, like, how many gems it's going to take. Like, I got to get this guy. And I had to go to 25 gems to get him on his banner. But, like, that was actually worth it. Just because of, like, you have some units who are, like, meta-defining, and I would say he's, like, one of those PvP meta-defining units. And when those come around, like, you just kind of have to go for them. Just because they might not come around for a long time, right? Or if they come around another banner, they'll have lower rate. So yeah, if you can get him, that's awesome. Like it's not a case for like S Snake where you don't need her. You like want to get S Hawk if that's an option. Like I said, it's tougher now because he's not guaranteed, right? Because it's not his banner. But it is what it is. Well, good luck, Andre. I do hope you can pull him at some point. Like, yeah, he's insane how fantastic that unit is. Just wait till like a good Rumble banner comes out where like he's like featured and go ham on there. But yeah, there's not many other Rumble units that I can think of that are like as good as that unit. Magic the Gathering? I assume that's Magic the Gathering. That's pretty awesome. It's been so long since I played Magic the Gathering. Like I remember I had like some cards in high school, but I never really was into the Magic the Gathering thing. I mean, it looked cool, right? It was kind of very D&D-esque. But yeah, I know like a lot of people were like played MTG back in the day. Yeah, like I said, there's not many Power Rumble Legends that you really need. Like, yeah, there's not many like amazingly awesome Pirate Rumble units, right? I mean, when it first came out, it was kind of just like almost like an afterthought, right? It was just another banner that Bandai could get you to pull, and the units were just kind of like very mid. But they've kind of stepped it up in the last like year and a half. They've actually started kind of making them value, even though like S-Bear didn't really have like a lot of value. But like I said, S-Hawk before him had a ton of value. So yeah, we'll see how they keep going. Like I said, I think it's tough because now they have so many banners, right? So you have like a PKA banner, you have a Pirate Rumble banner, you have a TM banner, there's just a lot of banners, so like it's tough to have good legends, right? Because they have to come out with so many, and they kind of make some mid. But yeah, Pirate Rumble legends kind of have been again in the shaft for a while, which is good because it means you really don't have to pull too much on the Pirate Rumble banners because you're not really missing anything. Nice. So what's your most max unit there, Andre? Was there one that you pulled like 5 copies of and were able to actually max? All right, so we're down to 660, so that's not bad. Like I said, we're gaining probably like 10 to 20 slots per run, which isn't too bad. So hopefully that means that by the end of the night, 2 or 3 more runs and we'll be in a good spot to just cross our fingers and hope we don't get absolutely blown away overnight by some of the European and Asian players who are obviously up while we typically are sleeping. So we'll see. Nice ace at level limit break 3. It's not too bad. I say the good news is like it doesn't really matter which one you pulled, right? Because all the rushes are pretty similar. So like as long as you got like one high, then it's almost like having them all high there. So that's actually good that you were able to get one up to level limit break 3. I was only able to get my Luffy up to level limit break 3. I didn't pull dupes of anyone else. I think I only pulled 1 copy of the other ones. Yeah, go ahead. You can throw a link. I don't think I have any controls blocking links, but yeah, go ahead. You can throw a link in chat if you want. What's your guys' favorite unit? I'd love to hear anyone who's watching what your favorite unit of the anniversary is. Yeah, I think the funny part is I think the Luffy is more. I mean, granted, his kit's pretty crazy, right? He has the despair in his captain. He has the bind you can get rid of. He does the delay through immunity. But yeah, I think where you're gonna see the longevity of that Luffy unit is probably gonna be in PvP, right? So I think you're gonna see a lot of teams running that Luffy here on forward, and it'll be interesting to see what they're gonna do about like the whole free spirit meta, right? So obviously the last like 4 or 5 legends that have come out, they've really done a lot of debuffs to that free spirit team. So I'll be interested to see if they keep doing that, or if they change that up a little bit. We'll have to see. Yeah, the guy hits like a tank. Like he does a 6k shot, then he does 5 times his attack, like, and then he kicks out free spirit units, right? I forget if it's 2 or 3 free spirit units. He forces them out for like 10 seconds. If you end up using him with the GP burst, you can actually take out like a whole team of free spirits for, well, he'll do 15 seconds for the GP burst and 10 for Luffy's special, but still you can get 5 units out for at least 10 seconds, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, it'll be, I like to see like how the new season goes with Grand Party, and like see like how people use him or what counters they use. Like, I think it was really interesting. I forget if it was the Ace unit or the Shanks unit, but one of those units actually had the GP ability to do like a heal. It was like a 70% heal. So I'd be curious if you'll see people running some of those units as kind of like a counter, right? So as soon as you take a burst, use that heal, whether it's the Luffy or whether it's the Sai Luffy, use that heal and use your units to kind of go forward there. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah, I don't think that the Kuzen or Kainu units debuted as PvP legends. I vaguely remember that they weren't when they first came out, because I remember like their banner was just like a standard banner against them. It wasn't like a Pirate Rumble banner or anything like that. I don't know why they decided to. Well, I'm guessing that they probably want to have some more 20 cost units when they introduce that change, and not just have like 2 or 3 units. So they were like, hey, let's just throw some older legends on there, call them 20 cost, and call it a day, right? I'm guessing that's what happened, because yeah, they definitely weren't debuted as PvP legends. All right, guys, just bear with me for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll get out of here and hop into some matches in single. And if you guys want to do some actual PvP matches, we can do that as well, just to test out some of the new units there. Or if you guys want to see like how like the crazy slasher team goes, we could do that as well. All right, Katakuri fight. Almost done. 3 more fights, guys, and then we get into some more interesting stuff. Not that TM is boring. It's just after you've done it like 30 times, it just makes you want to claw your eyes out. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how people go for like top 500 on Grand Line. Like, it's just the amount of time Like you have to like sit there just grinding. Like, and I understand people have different schedules and things, right? But at least for me, I'm older. I have kids. I have a house. So like, there's grass you gotta cut. There's pool stuff you gotta do. You gotta get the kids fed and to bed and all that stuff. So I don't have like even if I want to rank that high, I just can't. Do I think the meta will change with the units that just came out? So I definitely think that you will see more people using the Int G5 leader as a burst. I think that'll probably be the biggest change that you'll see. I don't really foresee much else changing. Like, people are still going to use like slashers. I mean, you might see a little bit less free spirit teams. Just depending on if they keep nerfing them on top of the nerfs they've already had from some of the new units that came out. Like, you might see people running less free spirit. Like, I could definitely see people running like a slasher team, a strength team, and like an int team, because those are three like really super high damaging teams that can get damage out really quick, and then can help counter any Psy Luffys you might find. Now, what'll be interesting to see, which we'll kind of have to see what happens, is for the burst of Luffy, you have to take a lot of damage, right? So, like, I don't know what the strategy is going to be going forward in terms of, usually the AI won't launch their special in the first turn. They do sometimes, but it just, like, depends on whatever they're doing there. So, like, I don't know if the strategy is going to be, like, try to get your special off as soon as possible, or get your team specials off as soon as possible and then use your burst after you take some damage, or like you want to get your team to take the hit first, so that way you can do the burst and then your team goes. Like, I just don't know how that's going to end up playing out. We'll probably have to see some experimenting in day one of the next season just to see, like, does it make sense to actually let your opponent go first, so that way you take the damage so you can get your burst off before they can get their burst off. And then what do you do on match 2, right? Because that means that if you kill them after they do like a pretty big hit to you, then you're gonna take one of their bursts like first thing on stage 2, right? And that you try to get them to use like their second burst in that stage, and then you have one for the third stage and they don't. So like, I just don't know how that's all gonna play out. So, but yeah, I think you'll definitely see less free spirit teams out there, just depending on the debuffs. Like, if there's no rule debuffs, you'll probably see free spirit teams stay there. If they keep adding buffs to the rules on top of the units that they've been releasing, then I could definitely see people kind of dumping that free spirit team there. Especially Psy free spirit. Like, you might see some people still run the free spirit team that has like the Sanji, the Zoro, the Psy Luffy, Nami, Karina, whoever else it might be. Like, you still might see that. I wouldn't be too surprised if that stays. But yeah, I think definitely the Psy free spirit will go, and then some people will change. Wow, has it been that? Wow, I can't believe it's been 2 years. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, obviously it's a long arc, right? And there's a bunch of breaks and things like that in there. But yeah, that's kind of crazy that it's been 2 years. Wow, it doesn't feel like it's been 2 years. Even though maybe I'm kind of jaded because of the Wano arc. Like, the Wano arc just seemed to literally like take forever. I mean, it was great. It was a great arc. Don't get me wrong. Like, it had some like the best moments in the manga, but they were there for a long time. I mean, it was a long time period, even though it was like a couple days in Real Peace World, right? But the time was super long there. We'll see. I'll have to. I'm caught up all the way through the Wano arc, and then I let my Crunchyroll subscription expire. So I'll have to see once Egghead gets a little bit farther. I'll have to renew it just so I can catch up on the anime side to Egghead. I mean, I've seen up until most of the, well, not most. I've seen most of the major battles up until the Lucci and Luffy fight, so I kind of know like what the main stuff is. But yeah, I'll have to. I like to wait till the arcs are like halfway to 3/4 of the way done, just so I can kind of binge watch it all at one time. What's my favorite arc? That's a good question. Probably Arlong Park. Like it was just written like so good, right? Especially like how like Luffy comes up when Nami's crying, just puts his hat like right on, like, oh, that's like peak One Piece. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Arlong arc, and I liked how when Zoro was fighting with Hachan, and like he didn't even like realize that like Zoro was the guy they were looking for. It was just a fabulous arc. I mean, obviously it's not as like flashy as Wano, and you don't have like Gear 5 or anything like that, right? But it was like world building and kind of like really setting the stage for kind of going forward. So Arlong Park would probably be my choice for favorite arc there. How about you? What's your favorite arc, Andre? All right, last one, then we'll get into some PvP, I promise. Yeah, the Dressrosa, it did seem to be a little bit long. I don't think it didn't seem as long as Wano was. I mean, maybe it was, but in terms of number of time, but or maybe there's just a lot more action, right? In Wano, there was a lot of kind of going back and forth, whereas in Dressrosa, there was a lot of battles, a lot of stuff going on, right? You had like the Coliseum stuff, and then the fight with Dofi and Law and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that's what scared me so much when the live action came out. Was I was kind of worried that it might not catch up to those moments, right? So obviously, there's a lot of history, right, in the One Piece world, and when you're doing a live adaptation, sometimes a lot of that gets lost. But like they did like fantastic, like capturing all that in the live action. Oh, I completely forgot to use the Jinbei special there. Would have helped. Sorry, let me see here. Good, Anthony. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so when I'm not messing up, it's been going very well. Can't really complain. I'm somewhere in like the mid 600s, I think, like 650, somewhere in that range. So yeah, we're just going through, even though I wasn't paying attention. So that's the problem. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So unfortunately, I missed doing the Jinbei special there, and I might have just cost myself the run again, but that's fine. But yeah, 650 in Grand Line, trying to stay in the top 1,000. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of the goal right now. Yeah, Marineford was. I'll just use a gem to do it. I mean, yeah, I know I could use the gem and technically go through the whole, get through the whole stuff in that gem, but we're gonna be going over to the other mode real quick in just a few minutes. So don't do that. It is much better to not use a gem, but like I said, I have a ton of gems, so it's not the end of the world if I use one for that. But typically, if you're doing TM runs, you don't want to use gems. If you die at a boss, you want to go ahead and just take the L there and then just use the gem, because you'll get much more points per gem if you just do it that way. Yeah, Marineford was kind of crazy. Like when that came out, like I thought like there was no way that they were gonna get rid of Ace there, right? I was like, oh, they're gonna save him. They got through Impel Down. Luffy got there, and then like seeing him like die right in front of Luffy was just like crazy. Like I never thought they were gonna do that. Like I thought there'd be some people who would die, right? Especially in like the rescue operation, but like I thought for sure that Ace was gonna make it out, and then he didn't, and I was like, wow, they were like straight up willing to kill characters, which is great, right? Because I mean, that's kind of the good part about One Piece, is that like there's so many characters there, and so many good characters that like like they can kill off some characters and it's okay. It's not like some animes where it only has like 12 characters, right? So like you're not gonna have a lot of main people killed off, but the fact they were willing to kill off Ace in there was pretty awesome. Yeah, Usopp was going off in there, right? Gotta respect Sniper King. All right, let's see where we are, and then we'll hop into some PvP. Yeah, so we're at 655 right now. Like I said, we want to kind of end the stream somewhere in like the low 600, so we're right there. All right, so you guys, this stream is for you guys. So let me know if there's certain stuff you want to see in Pirate Rumble. I can start off if you want. We can do some matches with S Snake just so you can see what she can do or can't do. Yeah, and we can kind of go from there. So maybe we'll just take on some like 100k teams and just see. This is going to be tough because obviously they have type advantage, but let's just see what happens. And I don't think they have. Well, they may have some free spirits on there, but yeah, we'll do some matches. But if there's certain matchups you want to see, like teams, just let me know. I pretty much have all the big meta teams: the strength, the quick, the dex here. Or if you have any suggestions on like things you think I can do to kind of make this a little bit better, just because, like I said, I think the problem that I have here is it just takes so long to get the specials off. All right, Andre, let's get into it. Let's see. I'm not expecting to win this because they have the type advantage, but... All right, there she goes. She just put confusion on 2 units there. The good news about pulling the 6+ Luffy from his banner for this TM is that luckily I don't have to get rid of my level 150 Luffy that you see here. I was kind of really dreading having to evolve him because then you couldn't use him in the Dex team anymore. So actually, so far, this team's actually standing up much better than I thought they would, even though there's some damage to defense that's gonna hurt. So let's see. What's interesting is I tried to replace the... So obviously on this team, I have the Roger and the Ace from the Anniversary. What I tried to do is replace the Blackbeard to the HP cut with the Roger because he has the 60... I think it's like 60% HP cut, something like that. What is it? Yeah, 60%. And it's okay so far, but like... I don't know, it takes so long to get his special going, and yeah, he gets a buff for himself for the first, like, 10 seconds, right? He gets a 10-second cooldown there. But then after that, like, you just don't have that anymore, so I don't know. We'll have to see if I keep the Roger in this team. This is the one person who I was thinking maybe I switch that up and see if I can end up having, like, that Nami unit who's a legend, that legend Nami, to go ahead and give a level 5 CT speed, I think she gives. And I think that might help out a little bit, but then you lose some stats. So I don't know. We'll see. But actually, I was surprised I was able actually to win there. Like, I did not expect to be able to beat the 100k strength team. So yeah, I mean, you love to see it. We can try out a couple other matches, a couple of the other 100k matches, see how they go. I don't think that this team will be able to consistently beat the... we'll try this 87k int team. I don't think that this team will be able to take out the slasher team, just because it's kind of, like I said, they get their specials off so quick, and the damage to defense just melts the units. And because you have to have so many legends in the front line, it ends up making it that once your front line goes, like you can see, I only have the Soba Mask in the back there to kind of help out. So I think it was that Nami unit. Let me just check. Unfortunately, I don't think the OPTC DB has quite the filtering capabilities on Pirate Rumble as it does for like the normal character table, where you can actually like do like a bunch of filters there. But I think when I was looking, let me just take a quick look one more time. But I think when I was looking, there was a grand total of like 11 characters who were Dex who could end up giving a CT boost, and I think that she was the highest out of all of those. So let's just take a quick look here. Special bind's annoying, but we deal with it. Yeah, so Nami gives a level 5 CT to Dex characters. Yeah, Kaido gives a level 5 CT to himself. I'm just looking at Dex characters here. Buggy gives a +3 special CT to Dex. Yeah, it looks like Nami is like the highest CT for Dex. For the whole crew, at least. There are some that give themselves like level 5, but at least for the whole crew, it looks like Nami is probably the highest CT booster there. Yeah, it seems like they I would say like you probably end up getting like obviously every month, right? They have just about every month they have new PvP legends, but it seems like every like 3 months they really release like broken legends, right? Because they want you to pull and do all that stuff. Yeah, Andre, it definitely sounds like Nami is the highest CT booster. So yeah, it looks like we were able to actually beat the 87k int team. Like I said, it's a little bit tougher in Pirate Rumble. In Pirate Rumble as opposed to Grand Party, because like you don't win. Like this is a really tanky team, right? So unfortunately, in Pirate Rumble, you don't win even if you have more units than your opponent at the end of the match. You don't win. So that's what's tricky about the Dex team, is unless you have like teams that are ready to able to kill all the other units. Let's try Dex versus Dex. This might be interesting. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try Dex versus Dex and see what happens. But yeah, what I was trying to see if there was a way I could use the S-Snake unit to somehow combine with some of the other units, like the Vegapunk units or anything like that, right? Because I believe she's a Cerebral unit as well. So I don't know if there's something that we can do there to some kind of synergy, even though I don't think it have to be like a Cerebral based team. But I don't know if maybe we can do something there. But the only good news is all these green legends being released for the anniversary. That means that there's probably going to be a lot of green teams in the next Grand Party season, and the red team, if you have the strength G5 Luffy, like he will absolutely melt any Dex team that's out there. I don't have S Shark, no. Unfortunately, I didn't pull the S Shark unit there. Probably Slashers Andre is probably my most used lineup. Like I said, they're just like, they're so consistent, and like it doesn't even really matter like the type matchup. So I would say like my number 1 go-to is Slashers, and number 2 is probably Strength. Just because with the Strength team, you can pretty much, as long as you're not facing quick, you can pretty much almost melt any other team. As long as you can get your specials off first. Like I said, the biggest downfall to that Strength team is that they don't have a lot of defense. So like if you take one special round from like the Slasher team, like you're dead, unfortunately. So they hit like super hard, which is good, but they die really quickly if there's like a burst. Like if you use a G5, like a side G5 burst against them, then you could pretty much like wipe out their whole team just about with the burst itself. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna end up winning this one. Like I said, it's like a battle of the tanks, right? So, yeah, that was just a nasty shot to finish us off there. Unfortunately, so yeah, it looks like we're gonna lose the lineup versus this Dex. Like I said, I think they just had with the defense on their team it was just crazy. Yeah, that Strength Blackbeard is actually pretty cool. I can actually, if you want, let's get some revenge real quick on the team that we were just facing there, and I'll just show you. I think I have the Blackbeard on this team. Typically, you could replace this Jack with the Blackbeard, or I do actually have it on this team. Sometimes I swap them out, but yeah, that Blackbeard is kind of nuts. So I don't have Kuma on here. What I could do, of course, is swap the Jack position for Blackbeard and then throw Kuma and Law on the bench. But yeah, let's just do a revenge match here. But yeah, that Blackbeard's pretty good. I mean, granted, his main gimmick there is he does the 35% HP cut. I think it is, right? Let's see what he does real quick. Yeah, it does some action bind, does 35% damage reduction. If I remember correctly, I think the only reason I have him on here is because it's kind of like an insurance in case Jack isn't able to go quickly. It just lets, you're getting that HP cut right away, and that was charging the G5 Luffy burst, the side G5 Luffy burst. And it would just let you get, your burst off before the opponent gets theirs off because, like I said, they're glass cannon team, so you want to make sure that you're getting your special off before they have a chance to attack you. So unfortunately, Luffy is a little bit behind in the order, so we might have to wait a little bit to see him, but yeah, when that guy hits and my Luffy is completely maxed out, like, he is nuts. And yeah, that Kobe unit is crazy. Like, he really makes that team, right? He gives the CT reduction, then he moves people to the front. Like, it's crazy how essential, like, that Kobe unit is and what he can do to that whole team. So you can see, like, yeah, Luffy just literally took out, like, 4 guys himself. Like, it was nothing. Yeah, what's even nuts too is I think he can also do a shield once you get below 50% HP, I believe. He gives a shield, and like the shield is ridiculous. Like that Kobe unit is really, really good in terms of what he can do. Yeah, it's funny because like before it was it was kind of like the Boa Hancock unit, right? It was like the Boa, Nami, and I forget the other waifu that was part of that character, but that was like kind of like the strength meta, and you needed her because at that point they didn't have a lot of defense, and she kind of gave that. But they've really gave a lot of support to like that strength team to be able to go ahead and like fight back. So let's just go back to this fight. I just want to see the Dex team again against this team. Like I said, this is a team that I'm thinking that if I could get Nami on this crew instead of maybe the Roger here, I might be able to get my specials off first, right? That's kind of the key there, is make sure you can get your specials off before they can get theirs off. Yeah, and I think the Kuma unit too was one that was 55 cost, right? And then they moved. I know they moved it down, or I know it's 20 now, but I believe it was 55 before, right? And that's what kind of made him really viable, is when they moved that down to 20 cost. Yeah, Andre, we'll have to see. Just because, like I said, I just don't know like how much defense and things we're giving up by replacing Roger. Like, I'd assume you want to keep Ace in there, but I just don't know like are we going to lose a ton of like defense or something if we do that? So we'll have to see what happens there. But you can see we just kind of lost based on Slash Machine, which is kind of what I was expected. Yeah, he was 55 cost before. So the shield basically gives you like, it basically is like a damage reduction, you can think of it almost as, right? So like hits that would like hit you for like super hard before like would like barely do damage with that shield, right? So it's not the same as guard, because guard is pretty useless, but like shield actually will help you out and really give you like a pretty significant reduction of damage. Like that, at least like most of the times you can withstand at least like one burst if you have a shield going. But Yeah, it just the tricky part is you have to get low health to engage that shield, right? That's kind of the pain portion of it. But no, I think the highest I ever went for Rumble, and this was just for the first season, like the very first season, was just because at the time, in order to do the upgrade island, you had to get the bronze title or whatever it was called. Like it was like top 1,000 to get there. So I ended up, I want to say it was like, I was like 230, 240, somewhere in that range on the very first one. And I had spent like, it was something stupid. It was like 30 gems or something like that I spent. But what that ended up allowing me to do was basically to make sure that I never had to worry about upgrading the island that we have over there, the one that has the training grounds, that has like the cotton candy and the gems and all that stuff. So I went like super hard that first one because I kind of figured that every one after that people would start going hard, and the first one like people were kind of figuring out, and you really needed that Roger Odin to do the max damage, and I had pulled them in their banner. So like it was pretty easy to rank high. But yeah, usually I try to rank like around like the 1,000 to 2,000 in championship, just so you still get like a good amount of red tickets. You can still get some gems, but you don't have to like go like nuts trying to stay in the ranking, because like once you get above like 1,000, it actually is like really competitive. Yeah, and the key there, sorry, Ko, I see you asked a question there. Sorry, just get back to you real quick. So I actually was able to pull the 6+ Luffy in his banner that came out. So I have one of each copy. So I think the game plan is the copy that I have in my Dex team was a fully level limit break 150, has everything Luffy, whereas the one I just pulled obviously is just kind of like the base Luffy. So I think I'm going to keep the level 150 Luffy as he is in his unevolved form, I guess you call it, and go ahead and just keep the one I just pulled in its 6+ form and just do it like that. Just because I have so much investments in this guy, I don't think it'll make a difference. Like he's like a staple for the PvP team. Like you need him for the next PvP team. So you want to have him as maxed out as you can. So that's probably the game plan, is to let my super evolved copy that I pulled stay super evolved, and I'll keep the copy that I have on this team in his fully level limit break form there. And yeah, you do want to go for championship, like I said, like, and it's not really hard to get into championship. Like all you have to do is like the exact time that it resets, like you have to be there. Like as long as you do your first 3 matches within that like 5-minute window of like once it opens, then you can pretty much stay in the top 1,000 without having to spend any gems the following days, just doing your normal 3 PvP matches as soon as it resets in the morning, and you're able to get into championship pretty easily. So yeah, it's super critical, because like I said, like the rewards and tickets between championship and the exhibitions are like night and day. So you do want to make sure that you go ahead and try to get that if you can. So what is the favorite anniversary in One Piece? Ooh, it was probably when the supers for Luffy, Kid, and Law came out. I loved Luffy. Obviously, he's my favorite character in One Piece, so that was really exciting. They had the new mechanic right out there as well with the Super Tandem, I think it was, and like Law was probably like in my top 10 probably favorite characters in One Piece. I didn't really care so much for Kid, but like it was awesome when all 3 of them came out. And unfortunately, I only ended up pulling the Law and the Kid when they had come out, and it took me like literally like a year later to pull the Kid unit. And even now, I think I only pulled Kid like a grand total of 2 times in my whole like OPTC career there. So he just likes to evade me, and luckily he's not using too much content anymore. You still see him on some strength teams, but mostly he's been replaced, so it's not kind of too crazy to get him, or you don't need to have him fully maxed out there. I think there is one of the Grand Voyages where he's actually like helpful, but I don't think you have to have him level limit breaked in that Grand Voyage in order to like get through the content, but you just need him himself. All right, yeah, rank B is not too bad. And what rank are you right now in rank B? Yeah, Andre, they know how to get. Yeah, sorry, Ko. What rank are you right now in B? Because that just started. Was it? I forget if it was today or last night that it started. But yeah, that just started, right? Rank B or Exhibition B. But yeah, Bandai has a way of knowing how to pull gems from you. Yeah, that's all right, Go. You'll get there. Like I said, it's it's just a slow grind, right? And especially like when you look like, yeah, if you get into championship, you might get like 500 red tickets, right? Or even less, right? And it takes like once you start getting to the higher levels of the training ground, where it ends up taking like 20k to like level up to get like +2 CC. Like, yeah, I mean, that whole like training ground is meant to be a grind, right? And that's kind of how it is. The only thing I would definitely like recommend doing, and is worth it if you can, is in this Rumble shop here. Like every season, it restarts, and you'll have obviously I already got it here, but you'd see like a 5 gem for 1,000 red tickets here. Super worth it, especially if you have like an older box, right? It's like basically like a free 5 gems every like 3 or 4 weeks, which isn't too bad. So recommendation there. If you do have some extra tickets there, it might be worth to grab the 5 gems from the Rainbow Shop. Yeah, so I'll be grinding Kizuna. I'm not gonna go like super hard on Kizuna. Like for all the game modes, like I have all the legends for Kizuna. I have all the units, I should say, for Kizuna. So I have the S Snake. I end up having the Brook, and I also pulled the Frankie unit as well. So I have all the boosters there. So what I typically try to do, like I say like a minimum, I'll probably do like somewhere in like the 45 to 70 range, like total runs there. And then the super bosses just really depend on the alliance, right? So we have a pretty active alliance, a lot of great members in our alliance. We are recruiting as well, so just a shout out there. But yeah, we have a lot of people who like to do super bosses. We're super friendly and we work together. So yeah, the normal runs I'll probably do 45 to 70, somewhere in that range, and then super bosses we'll just see how far we can get based on what everyone has. I think this one will probably be a little bit easier because, like I said, everyone pulls on anniversary, so a lot more people have units that they can use. So it'll be probably pretty easy to get to the super boss, which is good because that just means that we can get the tickets and dip earlier if people don't want to go too crazy there. Yeah, Ko. So in terms of that ace that's there, like he's okay. Like I see him used a lot in PvP, and if you just take a look at him, like I think mine I don't even have like fully level limit breaked yet. Like I think I'm still missing a couple copies, but yeah, I think it's this unit, right? Let me see. I think it's no, that's not the one. That's not the one that I have. Is it this one? I forget which one it is, but yeah. Actually, I think it's this one now I look at it. Nope. All right. Yeah. I mean, if you're a new player, he's one copy is fine. But if you, if you're trying to like max him out, like you'll get there in time. Like I'd say, just focus on getting one copy. I think that if you looked at it from a pure value point of view, like I think 30,000 gems for like a new unit versus 30,000, sorry, not 30,000 gems, 30,000 red tickets. 30,000 red tickets for one unit is probably a better investment than like 30,000 red tickets for +2 cotton candy, right? So it just depends on how your box is, but I would just focus on getting one copy, and then, like I said, as time goes on, you can worry about getting other copies there. But yeah, 30K is a lot of is a lot of tickets, right? That's probably a good 5 or 6 seasons of Pirate Rumble, right, to get up there. Assuming you can get like, assuming that you can just get like 400 or 500 every block that's there and things like that. So yeah, it'll take a while. It definitely won't come quickly. But like I said, try to strive for anywhere between like 500 to like 1,000 red tickets every season of Pirate Rumble, or every boss of Pirate Rumble, and you'll get there eventually. Yeah, it's a little bit of a ways to go. Yeah, especially especially the team building, it's tough if you're newer. Just because, like I said, you don't have like some like the crazy units that everyone else has, right? And you just get blown away, just because the units are like much better. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying there about, it is definitely, that mode is definitely about, team building and having like the latest and greatest meta units, right, on those teams. But yeah, sorry. So yeah, I will be pulling. I will be, not going hard on the Kizuna, but I'll be doing a bunch of runs there. I probably wouldn't recommend pulling the units if you did Anniversary. I mean, the S Snake unit like isn't fantastic herself. Like, she's not breaking in PvE, PvP. The Brook support is actually pretty. The Brook unit and the Brook support are actually pretty good. Frankie's just okay, but like I think longer term Brook will see a little bit more play. But yeah, I probably wouldn't spend if you're like a free to play player, or you don't want to spend like extra money on gems. I think you'll probably be fine. I think with the Anniversary units, you'll be able to pretty easily friend them up with a bunch of other different. You have a Snake friend captain, and then use some of the Anniversary units. Especially like Luffy seems to be the most popular one that you can use for some of the gimmicks that I've seen. It'll be easy to get to the content with a friend captain, S Snake, and some of the Anniversary units there. Sorry, I did see the real RZ about. Sorry, 1 second. So in terms of Alliance, just shoot me an email. I think if you look at the channel email here, just shoot me like how long you've been playing the game, things like that. I don't think we have any strict requirements per se. Like I said, we try to say, hey, try to at least do the minimum number of runs, which is for the rewards, right? Which is usually like 30 per Kizuna, for example, right? But if you're interested, just shoot me an email with your account details, your in-game name, things like that, or your in-game ID, and we can reach out to you there. Yeah, it's really tough to find like I don't think finding an alliance itself is hard. I think the hardest part is finding an alliance that doesn't have cheaters coming in, right? Because this is my second alliance, the one that I'm currently in. It's the second alliance that I've been in since I joined OPTC, and ebb and flow of the games, right? Sometimes you have cases where people leave the game and or come back, or whatever it might be, and your alliance drops members, right? So you do some recruiting. And we've got hit twice where, we've had someone who's high level, they've had a lot of high bounty, and then they just use hacks, right? And then all the rewards that you would have get disqualified for that Kizuna, and it's just a giant pain, right? So we've had that happen to us twice. So that's the hardest part. Like, it's easier if you have like a group of people that whether you're friends or whether like you through Discord or something, like people you can actually trust. So that's like the hardest part, is keeping people, like you said, the real RZ, keeping people active, and then also having people who don't use cheats or hacks, right? Because you can't really stop people from using the cheats or the hacks, right? If they have them, there's something that you can do to stop them from using it, right? And then everyone gets punished. So. Yeah, Ko. It used to be like you used to always get free multis or discounted gem multis, right? But yeah, you don't see too much of that anymore. Unfortunately, they've kind of really moved away from that. Unfortunately, but yeah, it used to be exciting, right? When you get to like, oh, 10th multi is like a free multi, right, or something like that. But yeah, they've been a little bit more stingy. I mean, they gave us a bunch for our anniversary here, so I can't really complain about the anniversary. They gave us like 10 or 12, right, altogether, something like that. But yeah, it's a pain that they don't do that as frequently as they used to. Yeah, that feeling is not a good feeling at all. Yeah, so I'll leave it up to you guys. Yeah, I could do some more PvP if you want me to do some PvP. If you want me to hop back into TM, we can do some TM. If you want to look at the upcoming Kizuna, we can look at some of the gimmicks. Yeah, I agree, Andre. I wish there was a lot more regulation there. Like, I know it's tough because like people, I think most of the people who do the hacking are probably on Android, right? Because you can jailbreak your phone and do that stuff and load those programs on there. So I don't know if it's as easy to do it like on like iOS or whatever. But like I said, like you can't say like, hey, you can't access it unless you have like an iPhone, right? That's just like not realistic. So yeah, it's a pain that there's no like easy way for them to like, even if they could like detect the issue and then like stop like the hacker as soon as they detect it. Like a good example is if you watch the Chaozu video, right? They had like an automated bot detection system that flagged his account, even though it wasn't an actual hack he was using, right? He was using a legitimate a game mechanic to get like Uta's attack up to like 100, right? But he got like flagged instantly and got like taken out of the grand party, right? Like, why couldn't they do the same thing for like Kizuna, where as soon as they detect it, they just take it out, everyone still keeps their rewards, maybe just subtract like that person's contributions to it, but still that everyone else like keep their contributions that they did to it. It would be nice if they did something like that, but I guess it is what it is. So that's a funny you should say that. I spent like an hour and a half today making teams. But then I realized, sorry, let me head over to the Kizuna crew there. So I spent and sorry, Andre, when you say teams, I assume that you're talking about the teams for Kizuna, right? That's a funny just to confirm there. But yeah, so I started setting up teams stupidly, not thinking that when I was looking at the boosted units here, and if I filtered by boosted, I would have expected that I would be able to go ahead and basically be able to see the boost units for this specific Kizuna, but apparently the boost units it was showing was the boost unit still for the TM, which I guess makes sense, right? Maybe like you can't have two boost units at the same time, I guess, for whatever it is, but yeah, so ignore these teams. I think some of these are going to have to obviously change because they're not actually boosted. But let me kind of walk you through kind of the different teams and my thought process here. I'm going to have a video on all this stuff once this TM ends and they put the right booster units up. I'll probably change these. But yeah, so let's just talk about like the stages real quick. We'll kind of go over what they do and kind of what the teams I thought. Now, all of these, I'm assuming that you didn't pull the S-Snake, the Brook, or the Frankie unit, right? It was all... assuming that you just pulled like the anniversary units and the friend captain S-Snake, right? So if we look at the quest guide for the quick, and these are just the 10-star bosses. I haven't done anything for the actual super bosses or anything like that, but I always started making teams for the mini bosses. So like on here, you can see, for example, you want to make sure it's deck quicks or int teams, just because that's what gets buffed there. So on stage 2, you basically get all slots changed to your own type and also make slots unfavorable. So basically, it's just a kind of a pain. What they want you to do is they want you to actually have double S-Snake, use one on stage 2, then one on stage 3. But like I said, I'm assuming that we don't have one. So what I'm basically doing is they don't make recovery slots unfavorable here, if you look in the preemptive of number 2. So basically what I'm doing is, and you'll see there's also a, if I'm understanding the quest guide correctly, on stage 3, and I was doing it for 31 plus, but you basically get a percent damage, 90% of current HP on 31 plus. So I'm pretty sure that means you're taking a 90% HP cut when you go into stage 3 on 31 plus. So in essence, what the plan was, and this is probably going to change because now I don't think this guy's going to be boosted, but this Kuruma unit can go ahead and give you 80% damage reduction for 3 turns. Really helpful unit. If you saw my TM videos that I released, I'm using him on one of my TM teams to take a nasty hit on stage 3 from Doflamingo. So he works perfect. We'll give you 80% damage reduction, so you don't have to take that 90% shot. And then basically, the thought process was then use this Bonnie unit here. She changes slots to recovery, which aren't marked as unfavorable, and that'll let you go ahead. And she also takes care of the increased defense, which is the other gimmick on stage 2. So with the combination of that Kuruma, I forget the guy's name, but the guy I was just looking at, and Bonnie, you can basically take care of stage 2 yourself. So that was kind of the goal for stage 2. And then on stage 3 was kind of just everyone else's special. So you end up getting, the assumption here is that you're going to end up using the S-Snake on this stage. Now you do have to use her after Luffy, because otherwise she doesn't get like the additional buffs from there. Yeah, that unit is pretty awesome. Like I've never really used him before, and then I looked at him and I'm like, oh, he's actually pretty good. But for stage 3, so you get that 90% HP cut that guy helps with. You get a 2-turn Great Barrier. So I'm using the Koala unit to go ahead and take care of that. So the good news is that she reduces the duration of the enemy barriers by 3 turns, which is good. Lets you take care of that. She also gives you slot effects for 3 turns, which again is good because there's a damage limiter on this unit, unfortunately, which will basically make it so you have to either remove the damage limiter, which I think the only people who can do that are the King of Hell Zoro, that quick Zoro, or if you have the quick Frankie, I think does it too as part of his captain action. I think that is a free-to-play Bonnie unit, Andre. I think. It's definitely not a legend. I just don't remember where I got that unit, but I'm pretty sure that's a free-to-play. That's a free-to-play unit there. Because the only legend ones are the Int Bonnie, the two Int Bonnies, and I think there might have been a side copy that might have been a legend Bonnie too. But yeah, she should be a rare recruit Bonnie, I'm guessing, or a free-to-play Bonnie. I'm not sure which one. But yeah, on that third stage, basically the S-Snake will help with the 5 turns hailing damage, to help with the whole slots bad matching thing. Now you do have to be careful because there's a 5-turn 3k pain debuff on stage 3 as well. Oh, it could be. Let me check the OPTC DB real quick and just see where that Bonnie is from. Give me 1 sec. Let me just pull up there. So we'll filter by Dex Bonnie. Oh, it could be. Let me check the OPTC. All right, I'm going to see what the tags look like for her. Yeah, it's saying raid Bonnie. So yeah, I'm guessing it might be in the Clash Bonnie raid. I don't know if that unit is still in the Coliseum there, or it might be one of the unlockable ones. I would check, but it looks like that is the Clash Bonnie raid. Yeah, it's saying raid Bonnie. So yeah, you do get, like I said, you get the pain on here, so it's 3k per hit that you take. So that's kind of why we have the Luffy here with the super type. He's able to get a 30k heal. Same thing with the S-Snake. She'll give a 30k heal as well, so it should be more than enough to be able to go ahead and use as many specials as you need. Like I said, you get the defense going into the last stage anyway, so that HP cut shouldn't matter. You'll have more than enough HP to do specials. So you also get 5 turns of blind, so the captain action of Bonnie will kind of help you get through that, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, raid Bonnie, huh? Yeah, the only downside about the Enma Zoro is that, well, actually, are quick boosted here? Oh yeah, quick R boosted, yeah. So that's probably the way to go. If you don't want to have to, like, this team was figuring that you were going to have to go 2 turns because that damage limiter. that's on there. But yeah, if you have that Zoro, he's like the other great unit. Like either that Zoro or that Frankie. I think the only tricky part that you'll have to probably figure out is how he matches with in terms of like what units he boosts, right? Because I forget what units that Zoro boosts. We can check real quick here. Hold on, let me just put it in here. I'm guessing it's Slasher and some other class. Yeah, so I think the problem that you'll have here is that he does Slasher Free Spirit boost there. But Bonnie boosts Dex, Cerebral, and Powerhouse, I believe. So I think even if you have the Zoro there, I think it might be tough to have have units that get boosted by both, unless you have like Dex version, like Dex Slashers or Dex Free Spirits, so that you can get the boost there from S Snake. So I think that's the tricky part. But yeah, any limiter content, he's like the go-to guy to take care of that. But as I mentioned, I'm just assuming that that I'm gonna have to do 2 turns. So the tricky part here is that if you go to the second turn, they throw a 4-turn damage threshold on you. So basically, I just have this new Zoro from the last batch, or I think it was from the last batch. That will basically let you do double special and help you to get rid of that damage threshold on turn 2 of stage 3. So yeah, a lot of specials here, a lot of painful things here, and yeah, it's just kind of painful. It'll be painful to get through the content, but like I said, this is assuming it's a almost completely free-to-play team, right? It's a lot easier if you have any of the boosters, but this is kind of the quick team. It's probably the hardest, I think, out of the 3, I would say. So I guess that's the good news if you get through this one. The other ones seem much easier. And yeah, Vinicius. It's kind of a shame how like the units only have value for the current units or current content they're boosted, and then afterwards they kind of lose all that, which is a shame, right? I mean, there are exceptions through, obviously, but for a lot of times, like once that content's done, you never see those units have play again, which is kind of unfortunate. This is the 10-star version of the bosses. I mean, you still get a good amount of debuffs, even so. The difficulty in Kizuna like ramps up once you hit like level 31, right? So, obviously, if you have like if you're a newer player, if you do any of the lower ones, right? Like there's a 3-star, there's like much less gimmicks, right? So I would say like if you don't have like a fully built out box, it would probably make more sense to do those lower difficulty Kizunas instead of doing 10-star. So this is 10-star. So it's kind of assuming that you have a pretty well established box. You're not kind of a newer OPTC player, and you kind of have like a good mix of units. So yeah, these are 30+ teams, but like I said, these teams are going to completely change because the boosted list here is not actually boosted. This is what's boosted on the current TM. I thought it would actually like just show units that were boosted on the Kizuna, but when I looked back at Discord at the units that were boosted for the Kizuna, like half of these aren't on here. So these are going to change. Obviously, what won't change is going to be like the Luffy, or in this case, I have Roger. On the int one, I have Shank. So like those won't change, but some of these supports might change depending on if they get boosted or not boosted. Yeah, this Bonnie, this int Bonnie that got super evolved is like fantastic. Like she's one of the most useful units that we've had come out in a while. Like I've used her in like everything lately for content. Like she can get rid of special reverse on herself. She can give the whole crew 2 turns of special reverse. Like she does a lot of like really awesome things. But yeah, so moving on to the side boss real quick. Let's just talk about what he does. So what are the most heavily invested units in my box? So I would probably say my G5 Luffy, my side G5 6+ Luffy is probably one of the top ones. He has everything fully rainbowed. There's the green Luffy you saw when we were doing the PvP showcase. He's fully rainbowed as well. Straw Hat's crew, really older unit, which has fantastic last tap where you do double the damage. I have them maxed out as well. I'm trying to think of what other units I have that like are like super meta. I think that's probably like the major super meta defining units I have that are fully rainbowed. And then like all the other legends that I have are like the big meta ones, right? Like the Nami, Zoro, those guys. Actually, my Zoro is 150 as well, and rainbowed. But yeah, like Nami and Sanji, I don't have them rainbowed. Yeah, so I would say like a lot of it's Straw Hat, like Luffy based units is there. Yeah, the problem is you get like to get them up to like so high, like between getting like turtles, right, to get them to level 150 and getting like last tap tablets or superhuman tablets or that stuff. It just makes it difficult to like fully max out characters. So you have to like kind of be like really specific, like in who you max out, right? Because you could end up spending all your remembering materials and everything else and like not have a lot of good units there. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. You don't see too often that Straw Hat Crew's in content, which is kind of crazy, right? Because like he instantly doubles. I mean, I realize the downside is that because it's a Straw Hat Crew unit, you're not able to use any other Straw Hats as rare recruits or crewmates, right? So I get it that that's kind of a pain in the butt. So it makes team building a lot harder. But like that, when you can get that team to work, like they do a monster amount of damage. And yeah, like that last tap edition will definitely help them out. It'll be interesting to see if you have like a Dex Kizuna super boss. If you'll see, a quick Kizuna super boss. If you'll see like a combination of that. Especially with a lot of the new Dex units, right? I imagine they could do like just an insane amount of damage. Then you just double that, plus the boost from that 6+ Luffy. It'd be pretty crazy. Yeah, they are pretty rare. Just a shout out to those of you who might not know, because I wasn't aware until Chaozu brought it to my attention, or made a video about it, I should say. You can actually, if you have some spare gems, which is kind of funny because like who has like a bunch of spare gems, but if you do have spare gems in the Rayleigh Bazaar, if you go to the trade with gems tab of it, you can actually get I think one copy of each of those for 30 gems each. Maybe not recommended so much for like super tandem, but if you want to grab like a rush tablet and like a last tap tablet, it might not be a bad idea to grab those if you have some extra gems, just because 20 gems, sometimes it would take much more to pull a copy of that legend to be able to level up that potential ability. So if you weren't aware, just hop over to the Rayleigh's Bazaar and pick that up if you haven't. Yeah, he is a pretty ideal friend captain there. Yeah, Andre, like I saw that and I was like, whoa, for like 30 gems, that's like, I mean, granted, if you get all three of them, it's 90 gems, which is not insignificant, but like, yeah, that's pretty awesome that you can just get those. And if you have like a unit that is only 1 or 2 away, you can just go ahead and max them if it's like a unit that's really good, right? Or you can just save them for whenever the next unit comes out that might be broken, that might have those. Oh, they're 50 gems? Oh, I thought they were 30. I mean, it's still a good investment, even if it's 50. Oh, that's a bummer. I thought it was 30, but yeah, that's a bummer. That's 50. Yeah, because that's almost like 3 multis, right? If you were to put that. But I think your odds of getting a dupes of some of these characters in 3 multis probably it's probably more valuable to just spend the 50 gems, get the tablets that you need, and just kind of save them for the future there. Yeah, you don't see too many last taps anymore. But yeah, Rush is definitely like the major one, right? And what I would recommend is for all the anniversary units, they all have like the same Rush, right? So if you've already, raised them a couple levels, right? Like you see my Luffy's 120 here, so I got my Sugo Rush up to like level 3. Like it's probably not worth it to raise it for the anniversary units for their last rushes, or for their Suga rushes, but there might be, you know, some units coming down the line that you might want to save it for. So even if you don't use it today, just keep it in your box and you'll be good there. Yeah, Ko. So how the potential abilities work is basically all of them have up to level 5, right? And they obviously do varying things depending on how many levels you go, right? So if you look at like the ship bind, right? Oh, sorry about that. Let me hit the potential ability again. So if I look at ship bind, like at level 1, it only boosts the ship bind by 1 turn, but if you go up to level 5, it does it by 5 turns. So the more potential abilities you invest, then the more beneficial effects that you get from that, right? And same thing for Suga Rush. Like if you look at like the level 1 versus the level 5, like it's completely different in terms of like what they can do. So you just want to make sure that and you can see, like, for example, like if you're level 5, it only costs 12.5k per hit, but if you're level 1, it's something like 20k, yeah, so 20k HP per hit. So you can see, like, you want to level up those potential abilities up to 5. Now that being said, a lot of them really don't do too much. So like if you see like a lot of these, I just have like so many tabs I've been playing for like 8 years, right? So usually like I'll just go ahead and max out a unit like whenever it comes out. But like if I was to even look at like this unit, like getting like a 10% damage on the last strike is just kind of like whatever. If it's not level 5, like it's not like the end of the world. So you just kind of want to make sure, if you're like a newer player who might not have as many potential ability tablets there, like you can prioritize them. Like there's not very often. I would say the only exception is there are a couple ones that are more rare than others. Like Hunger is a pretty annoying debuff to get around, right? So if you can find a unit that has a Hunger potential ability, like that might be worth leveling up. And then you can use that unit for content down the road that might have Hunger in it. But some of the like ship bind, you won't really see like too much content that has ship bind in it, so like it's not a huge like need to invest. So just be smart about like what you do with your tablets if you have a limited amount. If you have like unlimited, then who cares? Just go for 5 every time, doesn't matter. But if you have like a limited amount of tablets, you don't have to max out every potential ability. You'll be fine if you just wait and see, like if you really need it to get past content. Otherwise, you could just save it till you have. Typically, what I would say is like don't pull unless you have like 30 plus tablets for these potential abilities, right? Typically, and I don't know what, I know there's a rate that they had actually released of like how what the like up rate is, right? Or what the percentage of getting a successful rate is. But like if you can get like 15 to 20, you're pretty much guaranteed. And like I said, it's RNG based, so it's not like you're gonna get it, but most times by 20 potential tablets, you'll get that potential ability up to level 5. Yeah, I say like a lot when, especially when I don't have the script in front of me, right? It's a lot more just free form there. Sometimes my mind is thinking much quicker than my mouth is going, so I'm kind of talking on the fly there. My high school teachers would be disappointed, right? That was like the always thing, like way back in high school, was like, oh, you can't say like. Don't say like. It's a simile. You don't want to say like. So yeah, just talk about the side boss real quick. So for the side boss, you get 3 turns of attack down on stage 2. You get 3 turns of burn. And then there's a bunch of like really stupid chain shenanigans where if you have a chain above, I think it's 3.25, like you have like a 90% attack down or something like that, right? 3 turns, you have a chain max of 2.25. So yeah, I like stage 2 is a lot of like really finicky chain stuff. So that's why I kind of had this Nami on the team to kind of help out with a bunch of that. And then basically what they do on stage 3 for this boss is that if you have less than 3.25, you get 90% attack down, right? So this is where they really want you to use that S-Snake unit. She'll give +2 to the chain multiplier. I have the Ace unit here on Luffy to give like an extra 0.7. You get like a 2.7 off the bat, right? So you're pretty close to getting past there. Yeah, hit that like. Exactly. I like that. Hit that like and subscribe. Watch all my fun content and watch me get shafted when I'm doing Stugofest polls. Let me, if my channel gives nothing else to you guys, I hope that it convinces you to not pull. Especially like if you look at like my S-Snake video, right? I didn't have the video where I end up going to just about 20 multis to pull her, but you could see like it's just, you have people who pull the units in to like 2 or 3 multis, and you're like, oh, that's awesome. That sounds like a great idea. Let's just go ahead and do that, right? Like, I'm going to do that. Why not? And then you have people like me who just have terrible luck in Sugofest, and that's why I like to kind of post videos, because it's like, hey, like, it's not always going to be Toadski and Stump and those guys pulling the unit in like 3 multis and being done, right? Even though I think in this one, I think Toadski ended up going to 30. He did like up to level 4, and then he kind of came back in at the end of the video. We couldn't really see what like the multi count was, but he did not seem happy. So I'm guessing he had to go all the way up to 30 multis for that. So yeah, just let my videos be a cautionary warning to you guys that just because you see 1 or 2 streamers who are like getting legends right away, that for a good majority of people, that's not the case, right? And that's you just gotta keep realistic expectations. It's RNG, and sometimes you'll get lucky and get a legend in 2 pulls. Sometimes you will get the shaft, and you could spend 1,500 gems and only come back with 1 copy of the new unit. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, two S-Snakes in the first 3 multis is cracked. Like, that's pretty crazy. Like, that's awesome. Yeah, Andre, that is true. Toadski and Stump do steal all the luck there. Yeah, it when you think of like the context of like having to go up to 30 multis, it's kind of like, wow, if you were like to put that into like an actual like cost count, right? Because like on Anniversary they had gem sales, right? I think it was like 300 for like $100 USD, right? Something like that. But like typically, well, so that would mean like if it was an Anniversary banner, then like let's say you had 0 gems total, right? Like it would just take you like $500 to pull a legend, right? And like you can't say like 1 character is not worth $500, right? So yeah, when you have to go that deep into a multi, especially when you don't have gems, like I can understand how people get frustrated and get angry, and they're like dude, like I might have just spent like $100 and I got nothing right out of it. So I completely understand that. And the only thing I would say is that like for I think Anniversary might be the only time where I would recommend spending money if you didn't have gems, right? Just because like the units usually that are in Anniversary are like meta units that will have play throughout the whole year. They're not going to be like units that you'll use and then will be discarded like next month. Like you'll see them in play throughout most of the year at least. I'd say you can feel confident that for at least 6 months, like you'll be able to use them in content and be pretty good. But yeah, outside of Anniversaries, it's probably not a good idea to buy gems, right? I mean, I think the daily gem pack is definitely a good bargain there. I would say for every Kizuna that usually comes out in the tavern, they usually have the gem sale where you can get I think it's like 10 gems for $1, and you can do it twice, so you get like a free 20 gems. So if you can do that plus the daily gems, like you could probably easily get somewhere in the range of like 250 to maybe 400, just depending on like how good you do on rankings and stuff like that, and all the various game modes that are there. But if you can get up to like 400, like 300, 400 gems, like you have a good chance of at least doing a couple pulls in all the multis without having to spend more than maybe $10 a month, something like that. Oh, 5 for 50. I'll have to check that. I didn't see that. I didn't scroll down really through all the sales because I had like a ton of gems going to Anniversary. Like I had almost close to 3,000 going into Anniversary. So I didn't really look at too much of the sales there. But yeah, 5 for 50 is like ridiculous. Like you should definitely pick that up if you haven't yet. If that's in the tavern, that's that's a fantastic value there. Yeah, that all 10 Sugo Fest is definitely definitely needed there. And Vinicius, so what you're saying there, like, if you spend that much money, like, you don't feel good when you get the unit, right? You're like, oh great, awesome, I get the dopamine hit of pulling the unit, but then you're like, oh wait, like, was it really worth it? Like, I could have like spent that money doing something else, or I've been saving for like 3 months. Like, was it worth pulling? Why did I pull? Right? And I think that's where people have to just be able to. Oh, okay, gotcha. It's the 1 for 10, but you can do it 5 times. Yeah, so definitely do that then. That's like the best gem value you'll see there. So, highly recommend doing that for this anniversary. And also, like I said, usually every Kizuna banner that sale comes back, and it's definitely worth picking up because that's like a fantastic gem to dollar value. But yeah, it's a disappointment when you spend a lot of gems and don't get much out of it, unfortunately. So yeah, like I said, there's just a bunch of chain shenanigans that you have to deal with on the side Kizuna boss there. Some special rewind, some type slots unfavorable, and what's really annoying is they do like captain swaps too, so you kind of have to like put like rainbow captains in the middle row, so that way on the defeat there of that second stage, like, you don't get like a bad captain. So that's kind of like the general thought process there. You use Nami and the Roger on stage 2, and then on stage 3 you use basically everyone else just to get through. I do have the Judge Unit on here just to go ahead and help with some tandem slots. Again, all of these clashes that are here, like the first, the second, and the third stage at least, have like badly matching slots, so you have to kind of get around it if you don't have your own S-Snake for at least the second stage, right? So that's why we have the Sanji unit who will give us the tandem orbs on the second stage, which is beneficial, and we can go ahead and kind of get through that content there. But yeah, bunch of annoying gimmicks here. But like I said, I'll have some videos out too, kind of like buildable teams that you can use to go ahead and get through this content without having to pull like all the boosters there. So hopefully, it makes a little bit more sense for you guys there. Yeah, and I think like if you were to look at like the gacha style of One Piece compared to like other games, like I don't know, like it seemed like I played Dokkan over the years, like on and off. I played Naruto Blazing Souls like once upon a time, like all gachas are RNG, right? And yeah, that's great that there's like guaranteed steps and things like that. But I think like they're like, if I remember correctly, like on the Dokkan battle, they had like a system where like if you didn't pull, and I think even on Bounty Rush, I should not think about it too. Like they had like a system where if you did a multi, you would get tickets, and then like they were kind of like the guaranteed step almost, right? Like if you had like so many guaranteed tickets, they'd have steps within those, and you could use that to kind of get the new unit if you didn't get them through the multis. So OPTC is a little bit less forgiving, I think, than a lot of the other gacha games out there, especially because they removed a lot of like the nice benefits, like like the discounted multis, like all red multis, like except for like major events, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, I mean, like I like Dokkan. Like it was definitely like a very interesting game, but it was, for me, like I had been out of like the DBZ space for so long that like I came back and it was just like super overwhelming, right? You have like 30 different kinds of like Vegetas and Gokus and Vegetos, and yeah, it just seemed like there was always like a new unit coming out that was like really hard to kind of like the one thing I liked about Dokkan, at least it seemed like, is that like once you had like the good unit, like you could literally like take on all content with that good unit, right? Whereas like One Piece, you have to really team build and be able to like have a wide berth of units, right? So yeah, I mean, but I like Dokkan. Like I actually enjoyed it. It was just like I said, it was like, do I want to spend money on Dokkan? Do I want to spend money on One Piece, Treasure Cruise? Do I want to spend money on Bounty Rush? And ultimately, like, I just like the team building aspect of One Piece Treasure Cruise and the fact that like you always get the new characters and things like that. So, and for the bounty rush at least, like the whole like joystick thing on the phone is just like was just a pain for me. If you could do like a controller or something that you could connect, like maybe it would be better. But like I found like One Piece Bounty Rush was kind of a pain, especially when there was like a lot of action going on the screen and you're trying to like turn around and do things there. So OPTC just kind of won out for me there. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the coin system. Yeah, that's right. Now, now I'm remembering, vaguely remembering that. Yep. When you say best farming stage, do you mean for like experience, for coin, for gil, or whatever they call it in One Piece? What farming? What do you mean? When you say best farming stage, do you mean for like experience, or? So I would say for newer players, like I think a priority should be if you haven't already got the Chopper Man missions, get that done, right? Because as you go through the different stages of the Chopper Man missions, like every so often, like every like 10 or something, 10 missions that you complete, like there's a island that opens up on the extra island that like gives you like a ridiculous ton of HP. So if you can do that stage and throw like one of the captains, like a Marco or one of those units that give you like a crazy amount of experience boost, because like the stages it's like one tap, like they're not even hard stages. So if you can get a captain that has a high experience booster there, you can like level up like 2 or 3 levels at a time there. Outside of that, in terms of like leveling up from like an experience point of view, probably some of the Colosseums. I can't really say which ones are the best. I would say like I know I've seen videos out there from Chaozu or Stump and those guys where they give you like good farming locations. I just can't remember which one that they typically use. But that would be the best way to get experience, would be probably to go to the Colosseums and do some matches there. Probably my recommendation. If you need gold, you go to the gold cave with the belly boosting captain. I remember that they were called belly now. So yeah, you go to the gold cave with the belly boosting captain and the ship. I forget what ship it is, but one of the ships in the game can go ahead and get you some stuff there. And even the current boosted ship can give you, I think it's down to 2 times now, but still will get you some gil, some belly. Sorry, if you need to go ahead and level up, level limit break, or do things or do the ship upgrades or anything like that. Yeah, I mean the problem with PKA is you can only run it 3 times a day reset, right? Maybe up to 5 if you're using stamina gems. But if you're newer, I probably wouldn't use stamina gems specifically for PKA. So it might be good to get some turtles. And you do have the turtle island once a day that shows up on the extra island as well. That you can get him turtles for each of the colors. So if you have also like a Nami Karina and it duplicates the drop, if you have double Nami Karina when you do that stage, you can get 2 more. That's another way to do it. But yeah, you kind of have the problem, like you said, you only get those 3 stamina refreshes a day for PKA, so it's kind of tough to get like a large amount there. Oh, that is the real RZ. You're right. That was what the videos that I saw. Yeah, about the Usopp mission. Yep. So if you just Google like Stump Usopp mission or Totsuki Usopp EXP, it'll give you a guide, like the exact units to use to get through that. Because if I remember correctly, there's like the way they had the video, they actually had like every stage just about wave cleared, and you could like clear the whole thing in like 30 seconds. So if you just Google like Stump Usopp mission or Totsuki Usopp, go to speed farming team. That's a good question. Probably the Psy G5 team. Usually, if I'm trying to just get through content like really quick, I'll just throw the base G5 and the other G5 on there and just kind of breeze through everything pretty quickly. If it's a lot of stages that have a little bit more difficult enemy, I could do basically any captains there with a Roger Whitebeard support on the as a crewmate, I should say, because you could do their swap and get attack and orb boost pretty quick for every stage and get through that without too many problems. I think you'll see people using the new Anniversary Ace a lot just because of the fact that he can reduce special cooldowns by like half, and if you have two of them, pretty much you're guaranteed to have full specials like right away without having to do any stalling. And even same thing with that Luffy, right? If you have double Luffy, you can get a 4-turn. This is the Int Luffy, the Anniversary Luffy. You can get 4 turns of special rewind at the start of the quest. So I think ultimately the new team will probably involve that Ace unit just because you can get specials like going like right away. And that'll probably be kind of the speed team going forward. You'll have ace captains, and then you'll have whatever units in your crew that handle whatever debuffs are on the stage. But that will probably be the quickest going forward, I would guess. Ultimately, the new team will probably involve that ace unit just because you can get specials like going right away. Should you spend 30 gems for the basically 1,000 minutes there? I mean, I personally wouldn't. I mean, that's a lot of gems. I mean, yeah, granted, you could farm it for a while, but it would be hard for me to justify 30 gems for that. Like obviously, if you were like hurting, if you had like none, that might be a different story, right? But like you can get a bunch of EXP stuff every day. Yeah, it might take a little longer, but I wouldn't personally spend 30 gems for 1,000 minutes of Turtle Island there. Like obviously, if you were like hurting, if you had like none, that might be a different story, right? But like, yeah, that Annie Ace is like a super speed farmer. Like it's crazy. Like if you paired him up with the new Luffy, you could literally get anyone's specials and charge gauge done pretty quickly there. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. 1 second. I will get the app back connected there. All right. Hopefully the app should be back. Sorry about that. The Let's Go timed out because I hadn't touched my phone in like 5 minutes. So yeah, I'd agree with Andre there. The 30 gems for 1,000 minutes isn't worth it, especially when you get a bunch of gems. A bunch of EXP turtles do a bunch of different content, right? Like I said, PKA has some. You could do the Turtle Island once a day. Yeah, it's probably not worth it there. Yeah, in terms of like the actual like ships themselves, like yeah, there's not like very many that are really. I mean, granted, a lot of ships are getting their limit breaks or upgrades, whatever you want to call it. And like I personally have my own like hate with the upgrade system. Like I've been trying to upgrade. I got the Grand Tesoro ship upgraded, but I've been trying to get the Whale Shark ship upgraded, and I probably spent like 20,000 cola, like infinite amount of belly, and it's still not upgraded. It only has like the first upgrade, and it's such a stupid system, that upgrade system that they have for the ships. But yeah, there's not very many that I would say, even with a bunch getting level limit, getting like the call it limit breaks or whatever. There's just not a lot that are like must-haves, right? Yeah, if you guys want, I could do some more TMs. Let's just see, maybe just do another round. It looks like we have up to 45 stamina, so we'll see. Like I said, I don't really feel like gemming to if I don't have to. And I think that, like I said, we're about 666. Well, 666. So yeah, let's see what 1 or 2 runs do here, and then I'll probably be calling a night not too long after that. Just because. For those of you who have kids or are thinking of having kids, they get you up at like the crack of dawn. So even though I might end up going to bed around midnight my time, I'll still get woken up at like 6 a.m. by the kids. So yeah, that's just something to watch out for. But yeah, I'll do a couple more runs here. Yeah, that's true. Like Koa was like absolutely useless for the longest time. Like it literally did absolutely nothing. So it is nice that like it finally has some kind of use again, or you know, some kind of value there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and about the easy stages, you're right. Like wave clear is kind of like the way to go. And I know it's kind of like anti what I'm doing in a lot of these stages, because usually I don't build my TM team specifically for like speed, because like I'm not one of the, like the crazy rankers. So like yeah, if it takes me like an extra like 2 seconds to do auto instead of wave clear, like I don't like it does like I don't care. But yeah, that's like the way to go. It's like wave clears are like the way to get through content like super fast now, and it seems like that's kind of the direction everyone's going when they're kind of building TM teams. Not so much boosted units, but more units that can just do quick one-hit kills. So like if you saw when I had like the not the Doflamingo, the which one was it? Was it Crocodile that I'm fighting? Where I'm using the Brook double special to basically get through the first 2 wave stages without like. Oh no, sorry, it's the Katakuri fight, because it's the one that has Shiroshoshi. So yeah, where we ended up basically just using Brook to wave clear twice and get through the content like super quick. So I think the actual number is unlimited, Andre, in terms of the number you can get. Like I think as long as you keep going, it'll keep giving to you every. What is it? Is it like 25 or something? I forget what the exact number is, like, but the super bonus map, you can just keep getting it. As far as I know, you can just keep getting it over and over again, as long as you keep getting up in the nav levels there. So is there any ship that's close to the anniversary ship? So so the current anniversary ship, if I remember correctly, I know it gives experience, it gives belly, and the thing it does that's probably the most unique is the 10-turn special charge, right? So there's no other ship that will give you that 10-turn special charge, unfortunately. That's like unique to this anniversary, but there's a bunch of ships out there that will give you experience boosts as well as belly boosts. So that part, it's easy to get other ships that do that, but you're not going to have any that will give you 10 turns of special cooldown. Usually they give you like 1. Maybe some give you 2 if you level limit break them. I can't think of if any give you an extra cooldown or not. I'm sure there is maybe one that gives that, but yeah, you won't see special cooldown like 10. It might be like 2 if they're fully maxed out, or 1 is kind of the more typical one you'll see. So that's why this ship is so good for like Kizunas and things like that, right? And it's here till June. There are a lot of cases where there are units who might not be boosted, who you wouldn't be able to use in usual content because their special cooldown is just so high. But because they have the 10-turn cooldown at the start of the quest now, you're able to actually like use them in content, which makes it really helpful. Yeah, that is super unfortunate, because like that's the highest it's ever been, has been 10 times. Yeah, and I think even I didn't get as much grinding as I wanted to get done there. Like I ended up going like 50 levels, something like that. I went from like 780 to like 830, something like that, in just that one day that it was active. But yeah, that was like absolutely insane. Like if you were a lower level player, like a newer player, and you use that anniversary ship, like you probably gained like 30 or 40 levels at a time, which is kind of nuts to think about. So the good news is we were able to actually get to Big Mom without having to use any gems, which is good. Oh, yeah, that's nuts. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you would be like, yeah, that would be leveling on crack if you if you're able to do those Chopper Man missions with that. But I'm sure that was kind of planned, right? I'm sure they want to give newer players a chance to like just shoot up in levels, right? Because like until you get, I feel like if you want to really do stuff in this game, and this has kind of changed, right? Because back when they had like Colosseums and raids and that stuff was kind of like normal everyday content, you had to like farm 47 copies like consistently. Like stamina was a lot more important. Obviously, like PKA has its own stamina, TM has its own stamina. Kizuna, you have the token, so that's a little bit different. But like before, you needed to really have like if you had like less than 200 stamina, like you were at a pretty severe disadvantage in terms of like getting units and getting them maxed and grinding them out. Not so much of a big deal anymore, but still, like you still want to, especially for like blitzes and things like that. Like the higher your stamina, the just more times you can do these runs and things like that without having to use meats or gems to refresh your stamina. So good chance for people to level up and see how far they can get on there. And like I say, it was a good chance for the belly too, right? You saw a lot of people posting videos and things like that where they were getting just like ridiculous amount, like hundreds of millions of belly from like one run, right? Which is kind of crazy. But yeah, you could still use, if you have that, like I say, if you have that Marco, you could still use the Marco with the current ship and get a pretty good amount of XP still, even just doing like regular content. But so the gold key, I think now the only way you can get gold keys, and I might be wrong about this, but from what I remember, I think the only way you can get gold keys now is if you do high rankings in TM. I think that's usually the point reward if you get to like the very end of TM. Like in this case, I don't know what it is in the lower leagues, but like in Grand Line, it was like 20 million was like the last reward step. And I think once I got that, I got a gold key. So usually you have to get like super high in rankings to get those gold keys, which is a shame because you used to be able to get them in. I believe it was GARP challenges. I think they used to be able to get them if you complete all the GARP challenges once they reset. But yeah, once they change that, you can only get them now by going kind of hard in some of those events. I don't think Kizuna gives one. Yeah, I'm almost positive Kizuna doesn't give one. I think it's just TM now. Maybe PKA does. PKA might give one as well. I'm trying to remember what the rewards were, but you might be able to get one from PKA as well. There you go, Andre. Yeah, yep. I thought it was a 20 million that we got. But. And like I would say, like if you're a newer player, like the gold keys are nice because you can get obviously like extra stats and stuff like that, right? But there's not like many units where like you need a gold key to make them like really usable or great in content, right? Like it's nice to have that. You can usually bring their special cooldown down like an extra turn, and maybe they get like an extra sailor or things like that. But yeah, I mean it's not like I can't remember the last time I used it on Luffy, obviously. But outside of like the Anniversary Legends, I can't remember like the last time I actually used like a gold key on a rare recruit unit, just because most of them aren't like the gold key like doesn't give them that much more abilities than what they had in their base. There are exceptions, obviously, but for the most part, those gold keys prioritize them and only use them on units that are worth it or will have unique abilities in their level limit break plus section there. So I think all the anniversary characters can handle the next Kizuna. So by themselves, I would say no. With a friend Captain Snake, I think most will be able to. So I think based on what I've seen of the team so far, you'll definitely be using the Shanks for probably the last fight, just because there's a 8-turn bind there. There's some barriers, things like that, that you have to get through that are pretty nasty. I think you'll see a lot of people using Luffy too, because for the immunity portion of S Snake, you have to basically use a special after Luffy uses special, right? So I think you'll see a lot of in Luffy's around in at least 1 or 2 of the 10-star bosses. You'll probably see that. So yeah, you'll definitely see the anniversary legends there, but I think you will need to definitely have a friend captain S Snake. I don't think if you just have the anniversary legends themselves, you might be able to build something, but it's going to be much harder if you don't have that S Snake. So I think best bet is to find a friend, a friend on your friend list who has the S Snake as one of their captains or was lucky enough to pull them, and then just go ahead and use that for your friend captain. Just make it easier on yourself. Give me 1 second. Once this match is over, I can hop into. I just wasn't paying attention there. I can hop into the main menu and share my friend ID because I'll have S Snake up, and I think I have a bunch of room in my friends list because when I upgraded my box just before anniversary, because I just had a ton of units there. I have some friends room space. So just give me 1 second to just finish this. Hopefully, I'm gonna just take me a couple turns here. Yeah, just give me one chance to finish this, and then I'll throw my friend ID on screen, and you guys can send a request if you want. Anyone watching, and you can hopefully use that to get through. See, this is a good example of me not being able to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Sometimes I get so wrapped up talking in the stream that I completely forget what I'm doing and miss tab there. Typically, I should have done the Brook and the Shiroshoshi, and then started with the Shanks up top to be able to just go ahead and beat it pretty easily. But I'm just going to use a gem. Like I said, don't use gems. Don't use gems on TM. I just have a bunch here, so that's why I'm okay using it. But in any normal circumstance, looks like he has one more turn of shield there. In any normal circumstance, you shouldn't be using gems for these mini bosses. It's just not worth it. You can use a gem to basically do a whole run and get like double the points than just doing this. So. Alright, should just be one more turn and we should be able to just kill this guy real quick. Yeah, that's the best thing about this is that like the discount that they give is like that should be like the all the time discount, but yeah, unfortunately we'll see if it sticks around of that price. I hope this guy doesn't have a death hit. We'll see. Good, he doesn't there. But yeah, that skull price is the best that we've seen in probably forever, and that's honestly like what it should stay. Like the fact that like if you were to grind out yourself, like it would take like years to get all the tokens to do the evolution. Like I remember when our first child was born, like I took like a 3-month break from OPTC just because it was like new parents, all that stuff. And like when I came back, I obviously had missed 2 Kizunas, and I had like a bunch of tokens like stored up because I'd been playing the game like up until that point. And like even coming back and having to buy those skulls, like it almost used up like all my tokens, and I had been saving for literally like since the mode came out. It's just a pain. They still give the 100 stamina, or do they just give them a meat? Like I forget how they do that, but I know. Yeah, no worries there. I will definitely make some videos about how to beat these Kizuna bosses without having any of the latest and greatest. Just having a friend captain, Snake, and some of the anniversary units, and then just like a bunch of like maybe not free to play units, but a bunch of units that you don't have to pull for. That you can hopefully use to beat the content. So look out for that probably in the next couple of days. I was trying to get that done today, but if you heard me earlier on the stream, if you were here, one of the issues that I ran into is that like I started building the teams with the boosted effects that the system was showing me, but I didn't realize that it was showing me the boosted units for this TM, not for the Kizuna, even though I was in the Kizuna area. So I just have to wait for that switchover to happen, which I assume will happen once the TM ends tomorrow. And then I'll be able to basically just go in and build the teams and get a video out there for you guys. But yeah, I'll have 2 teams. I'll have a video team, a buildable team for those of you who didn't poll on this banner. And then I'll also have kind of like a My Teams version, which will have everything since I pulled all of them. And I would just say, this is probably weird, probably not recommended to say for other streamers, but like I said, there's a good chance that Toadski might get a video out before me, just because like he seems to get videos out pretty quick. So I'll get a video out for sure, but just keep an eye out on Toadski on his channel. He might get a video out quicker on buildable teams. Stump usually does buildable teams too, but I think he's in Japan, so it might be a little delayed, or he might not be doing teams for the Kizuna. But yeah, just keep an eye out, or even Chaozu does teams as well. Just keep an eye out on all the OPTC creators, and one of us will get some buildable teams. I typically try to build teams that are different. Like if I see Toadski comes out with a video or Stump comes out with a video, typically I'll try to not use the same units that they use, just so that you can see a more variety in terms of what units you can use, and just give people more of a chance. So yeah. Hopefully between all of our videos, you'll find some teams that you'll be able to get into to go ahead and get through that content. Like I said, really the key is you want to just at least be able to try to get the rewards right, get the skulls right. So hopefully it's not a bad TM. I guess we'll see. I have faith that it's not going to be that bad with the S Snake Captain, but we'll see. Some of the chain shenanigans are just painful. And the matching orbs things are painful too, but luckily there's a lot of units that can change orbs to either tandem or recovery and get around some of that stuff until you get to that final stage and can use the S-Snake. Alright, I'm going to use the EX Super here, and then Luffy special. And then I forgot to do that last time, so I don't mess up this run. I will go ahead and do that. There we go. Nice, easy hit there. Thanks, Ko. Appreciate that. Appreciate all you guys watching the videos. Hopefully, like I said, I do it for you guys. So hopefully you get some benefits out of the videos and, have a chance to play the game and see the stuff there. So as long as they keep providing some value to you guys, I'll keep making them. All right, I'm probably gonna wrap it up after I do this run. Like I said, I'll share my friend ID just so you guys can grab it and add me as a friend. But I'll probably be taking off just after this run, just because it's just about midnight my time, and like I said, the kids are gonna have me up bright and early at probably 6 a.m. So just to get some good sleep there before. How do I feel about the new Kid Killer and the La Beppo? So I don't really have too much of an opinion on them, just because I personally didn't pull them. I was saving gems for anniversary, so it was kind of based on what they did, they weren't it was much better just save for anniversary, right? So with that disclaimer, they're okay. I don't know if you'll see them in a lot of content use, right? So obviously they are actually boosted for this upcoming Kizuna. They were actually on the Kizuna boosted list, but they don't do amazing stuff in PvP. Their regular kits are they're interesting, but they're very niche, right? So they were good for the content they came out with, but I don't think that we'll see them be a staple on a bunch of teams going forward. I mean, I think they're good units. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think they're worth I don't think they're banners here anymore. I think it left when the anniversary ones came. But I probably personally wouldn't pull for them. They'll come around again, right? They're not exclusive units there. You're bound to get them again at some point down the road. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So okay units. Like I said, okay units, but probably not like must-have units there. All right, I think it's this one. Okay, there you go. So my friend ID is on the screen. I'll just leave it up there for just a little bit if you guys want to just grab that. Send friend invites. I think I have like 80 slots or something open. So technically, if all 12 of you who are watching request, I should be able to add you guys without too much problems there. Or if you're watching this video on replay later, like I said, I have no problem adding people. The only thing is, like, if you're inactive for like over a month, I'll probably just remove you from my friends list just to keep, you know, the captains refreshed and have kind of the latest there. But yeah, level doesn't really matter, and none of that stuff really matters. So as long as you're like active, like you can be on, like I'll accept any friend request that you have there. So yeah, hopefully I'll leave it on there for just maybe like another minute, and then we'll kind of wrap up the stream. So before we wrap up, anyone have any final questions or thoughts that they want to get out before we call it a night? Any other burning questions on OPTC? We'll give it just another minute and a half for you guys just to get this. It's kind of weird because like a 15-second delay from when I actually speak versus when you guys actually see it. So, yeah, I'll just give it like another minute or two just to make sure if anyone has any final questions, we can answer those. Or if not, like I said, you'll at least have a good amount of chance to write down my friend ID here if you want to add me on the game. Yeah, it's awesome, Andre. Yeah, go ahead and add me. Like I said, I could see like when people get added by ID search. So usually like those people I always add first, just because if you're searching by my ID specifically, then that means that you probably saw like some content I was in or like know something there. So that, yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, I have a bunch of slots in there, so like, yeah, if you're like active, and I understand people like go on like vacations and stuff for like a week, right? So they might be gone or whatever. So usually I try to give like a month. Back when we had like not so much space, I was definitely much more strict. But now that like I have, let's see how much I have. Like I think like 300 slots or something like that. Let's see, friends list. Yeah, so I have 300 total slots, still have 80 open. I know I have like a million mail, so like I haven't actually went through a bunch of requests that come in through like just the daily thing. But like I said, I will go through those, and if you guys did add me using the friend ID search there, I'll definitely add you guys so you can be part of the list and hopefully at least benefit in the upcoming Kizuna with the S-Snake unit. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Great to see that you sent the friend request, and Andre, that's awesome. Thank you, Tefalo, for coming out again. You were, it was great that you guys were in the chat, engaging, and a bunch of other you guys were in the chat too. So I like doing these. I can't do them probably near as often as I'd like, but at least, you know, getting together with the community is always great, and having fun with One Piece, and it just makes grinding and doing things a lot more fun when you're with people. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Appreciate everyone coming out here, spending some time on your Friday night to hang out with me. And until next time, I guess we'll end it how we do every usual video.